My name is Jenny. Welcome to my channel, JK Star 88 Reader. Today I'm doing a February TBR. That's right, it's my February TBR. And I have a stack of books beside me that I want to talk about. So let's get going. The first book I have to show you, it is the Guinevere Deception. So this is a YA fantasy title that I have from the library. I read around 100 pages already, and it follows young Guinevere. She is 16 years old and she has married the king, King Arthur, and she has arrived at the castle to solve a mystery. Something is putting the king in danger and she must figure out who is after the king. So yeah, the Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. I still have more to go before I have to return this book to the library, so we'll see if I read it in time. So yeah. The next book I have to show you, it's this box set here. It's Percy, Jackson, and the Olympians. So I've had this series on hand for a while now, and I still haven't been able to get around to reading these books. But with the television series being promoted online, I decided it's time finally to get around to reading these books. So the first volume in the set, let's see if I can get it out from the box. There it is, the first book in the series, The Lightning Thief, followed by Percy Jackson and the other Olympians, the second volume, and it is The Sea of Monsters. And then third volume in the series, it is Percy Jackson, The Titan's Curse. And after that, it is The Battle of the Labyrinth. And one more book in this box set. This one is The Last Olympian. So all these books in this box set, I'll probably just read one of them in February and continue on with them over the next few months or so. So yeah, the box set aimed for younger readers, but I'm eager to get back to reading books based on classic Greek myths. So yeah, that's the box set here. Percy Jackson and the Olympians by Riordan. Next, for my next book on my reading list for February, this one is The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. So I've had this book in my possession for a number of years now, and it's finally time to get around to it. So I have a number of backlist titles, and this one is about a young girl, and there are zombies, I believe, so a bit of a horror story. So it doesn't have much of a description, and so we'll see if the promises this title has, the book will deliver. So yeah, The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. Next, another book on my list. This one is A Complicated Kindness by Miriam Toews. So this is a book by a Canadian author, and I read one book by her, one of her earlier works called The Flying Troutman. And so that is a book about a mother and son on a field trip. And so we'll see where this book goes. So yeah, well, it says on the back cover, it says, A Complicated Kindness is a fiercely original story about the ties that bind families and the forces that tear them apart. This is the world according to Naomi Nicol, a bewildered and wiry young woman trapped in a small Mennonite town that seeks to set her on the path to righteousness and smother her at the same time. As Nomi searches for the truth behind the recent disappearance of her mother and sister, she finds herself on a direct collision course with the only community she has ever known. So yeah, maybe a bit of a dreary read, something examining life in a small town and the religious aspects of the community. So yeah, A Complicated Kindness by Miriam Toews. The next book I have on my list, this one is The Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu. So this is a short story collection, and I started this a while back, but it's taking me a while to read all the stories in the collection. I tend to do that with short story collections. I will read the story and then I will put it down, and then I will return it after some time has passed. And so I guess that time is over, and so I'm eager to finally get around to read this book, The Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu. Another book that I have on my February TBR, this one is NW by Zadie Smith. So I'm making my way through the backlist catalog books by this author. The last book I read by this author was called Swing Time. And so I'm now onto this one, which I've had as part of my collection for a number of years. And it follows 4 individuals who live in the northwest of London. And so, yeah, with the British flag colors, it's good to examine 4 members of a neighborhood in London. So, yeah, NW by Zadie Smith. One more book, there are a few more books left, and so this next one, it is Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. So I recently read another book by this author, and that one, I have trouble recalling the title of that book. It should say somewhere. Oh yeah. The other book that I read by this author is called Emergency Contact, and I've already unhauled it. And so I'm finally getting around to reading this book, which I've been meaning to read for a long time. It just was only recently that I was able to get this copy, and so we'll see where it goes. It's a YA contemporary romance, I guess. And so, yeah, Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. The next book I have on hand to read, this one is Study for Obedience by Sarah Bernstein. So this is a book that won the Gilder Prize this past year, and I've been meaning to get around to reading it. After the winners or the finalists for the book prize was announced, went around collecting books that were in the last 5 titles of the award, and so this one made it to the end and actually won the award. And so yeah, I would like to get to this fairly soon, as it is a new book in my collection, and it follows a woman who travels to London to look after her brother's children. And so it's called Study for Obedience by Sarah Bernstein. The last 2 books in this February TBR video, these are non-fiction titles, and these are also ones that I've had as part of my collection for a long time. It's just that I don't tend to pick them up. And so the next one, it is The World is Flat, The Brief History of the 21st Century by Thomas L. Friedman. So I've tried reading this book a few times already, and each time I only make it a few chapters before I put it down and wander to something else. But I've decided it's finally time to get to reading this volume. It's a lengthy book about technology, economics, and globalization. And so, with um, the advancements in technology at this point in time, and how things have changed over the course of technology and the adoption of social media platforms by a wide number of people in the industrialized world. It's good to look back and at how this all developed over time and have some sort of grounding before the next phase in technological developments. So, yeah, this is what my thinking is about reading this book, and so we'll see how this will help me look forward or be prepared for the coming years. Yeah. So, The World is Flat: A Brief History of the 21st Century by Thomas L. Friedman. And another nonfiction title. This one has also been part of my collection for a number of years. This one is Road Trip Rwanda by Will Ferguson. Will Ferguson is a well-known Canadian author who has written a number of books that are travel stories, and so this one has been published for a few years now. He's released more recent titles, but this one was published, let's see, back in 2015, and it is a signed copy. I might have actually seen this author actually do a reading from this book when the book was published, so that's why it's a signed copy. And so I'm great. It'll be great to finally get to around to reading this book. So yeah, Road Trip Rwanda: A Journey into the New Heart of Africa by Will Ferguson. So that's it for me for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye!